Your son says as he pulls and tugs at your cool-colored beard. Rising from your wooden bed, you gently push your son to the side and look around. You're currently sitting on a stone floor, watching as your son runs outside, as the sun's warm glow peeks into your humble home. You live in a 2-story house in the district of 𝒋𒅁𒊏🂍, a neighborhood by the Ishtar Temple in the ancient city of Babylon. Your name is Sin-Kashkid. The year is 1751 BC, and the great King Hammurabi watches over your realm. You've worked hard to achieve your luxurious lifestyle, beginning as a scribe in the court palace, translating conversations between officials and priests, and writing them on clay. At this time, in the Middle East and in Mesopotamia, people wrote Cuneiform, a type of writing made by pressing letters into clay tablets with reed pens. With each inscribed letter you create, you become closer to becoming a learned man and a professional scribe, an impressive feat for your day when 98% of your society and the city was illiterate. After working your way through the ranks of the bureaucracy, the king has took notice and has tasked you with an important position. You are a high judge, reporting directly to the king and the priests of the city, a high honor and a position you take seriously. Your room is of modest size, covered with woven textiles of bright colors hanging from the walls. Wooden chests filled with documents and the necessities of life sit in the corner. Ceramic jars and vases filled with perfume, spices, and wine lay on a shelf. Your home is built around a courtyard with windows on each side intended to capture any breeze possible. In the hot desert climate of modern-day Iraq, where temperatures can exceed 50 Celsius or 120 degrees Fahrenheit, any escape from the heat is warmly welcomed. As you begin your morning routine, a fragrant wind envelops your house, as the smell of warm bread fills your home and escapes through the windows. Your wife Tamit has begun baking your breakfast with the help of your maid Sin-Ahmad. Taking your wooden chest and darning your fine woven gown, feeling the cool fabric against your skin, you prepare for your meal. A ceramic bowl and jug awaits you, as the steam rises off the bread and the cool milk from the jug quenches your thirst. Your bread is a form of pita bread, seasoned with salt, dates, and some meat, a luxury compared to the poorest of your city, who often go into debt to obtain food. Taking out your diorite seal, a form of ancient rubber stamp used for signing identities, you have inscribed your name and the god of your city with it. You take it and the string on which it lays and place it around your neck. Enrobing yourself with fine linen and placing it over your gown, you're ready to begin your day. Putting your head together with your wife's, you say goodbye. You're currently in the city of Babylon, an ancient city dating as far back as 2300 BC, known in its time for beauty, famous hanging gardens, and a culture that influenced the entire Middle East and beyond. The city is made of over 40,000 people, over 24 temples dedicated to various gods and goddesses, and various palaces belonging to the king and the noble elite. Famously, the Ishtar Gate, adorned with blue tiles and decorated with symbolic animals, would not be built for another 1,000 years. However, currently, 3-meter thick mud brick walls defend your city. The city is made of 2-story and 3-story buildings composed of mud, wood, and reeds, with ziggurats and temples piercing through the skyline. Granaries peek through the city tops, holding the city's grain for times of strife. The city is dotted in red, black, blue, brown, and green colors, as trees shade the streets. Earthen pottery sits on people's homes. Velvet wineskins hang from people's roofs, cooling down the wine and the water within. Rivers flow across the outskirts of the city, creating a glistening sparkle across the city. and bricks are darkened by the looming shadows across the city and the waste thrown on the streets. Fires crackle throughout the city as smoke rises from each roof, thickening the air with the smell of wood-burning stoves, roasting meat, and rising bread, clashing with the dusty air of the city, clouded in the smell of farm animals and waste. Though your city is a fabulous gem of ancient Mesopotamia, the city of your time is a far cry from the Babylon of the Bible or the writings of Herodotus. The city in which you live is a small but bustling town, the capital of a regional power. But thanks to the god Marduk and his servant King Hammurabi, numerous building projects have begun taking place, seeking to rejuvenize the city, decorate and adorn the temples, and expand it for future growth. Walking through the city as the sound of your sandals bounce off the dirt-trodden paths, you pass one alley and walk out onto the main road made of mud brick. The market life comes into view. Cattle carts roll through the town as street vendors yell out. Insert Akkadian lines here.
Nuhishu shakashau.
Mazazu 𒋀🅁𒊏🂍.
Nuhishu maru. Agutu shalashuti.
As the smells of fish, smoked meat, and baked white chicken waft through the air, intermingling with date wine, sour beer, and imported spices, filling the market with the smell of life. In the far corner of the market, where the city meets the river and the wooden docks jut out of the water, a couple is arguing with each other and notices you. You recognize them. You gave them the legal advice for their wedding only a week prior. You wonder what they could be so unhappy about. The man approaches you.
Sharu mashu nukurtu inashu. Anakusina midu belu sharo.
You answer, telling him you're the high judge, trusted by King Hammurabi to deliver his judgment, reminding the man of your previous meeting. Asking him what he wants, he tells you of his plight. He's a newlywed man and his wife has racked up an enormous debt in gambling. He seeks a divorce and wants to use her dowry to pay off the debt. He's shouting and screaming at her as she exclaims, "This man is a liar and seeks to rob me of all my wealth." She pleads with you to take her case, explaining that her husband only married her to take her dowry away to pay off his gambling debts. Now, at this time in history, a dowry was to be paid to a family to offer financial compensation for the loss in labor around the house and to help fund the weddings. However, at this time, dowries were also paid out to spouses as future financial stability. This was done in case financial mishaps occurred, somebody was seriously injured and unable to work, or in the case of divorce, acting as a safety cushion for whatever injuries or challenges were met in life.
Shuana shamashilu mātū elishu.
As you say a quick prayer, you prepare yourself for the trial. You yell for the city elders and guards to come by, as they come wearing sword to belt, clad in bronze armor, and clad in sandals and cane in hand. The guards act as a symbol of the king's authority, and the old men as representatives of the local community. All swearing before the god Utu to be killed if they are lying, the trial is ready to begin. As a crowd begins to gather and whispers float around, the husband marches forth, announcing his woman is a liar and has gambled away a 5-year wage on some dice. He produces 5 witnesses, each of whom agree one after another with the man, and denounce the woman. As the woman sits in silence, some servants rush over, whispering in her ear, and give her some clay tablets. You weigh your options and ask for the woman's input. She quietly brings forth 2 tablets inscribed in Cuneiform, explaining that these are the legal documents which describe the debt owed by the husband. I have posted here the Akkadian in Cuneiform so that you can translate it yourself. The man and his friends call it a forgery and call her a fraud. The crowd begins to murmur in agreement. A man cries out for her to pay the debt. Another man demands her to be punished. However, as you read the text, you notice something in the far corner, a seal. As you ask for the man to give up his seal, he tries to run. As the guards tackle him and the city elders beat him with their canes, you take his seal and run it over the tablet. It's a match. He's a liar and a thief, but worst of all, he betrayed an oath in the front of the god Utu, a crime punishable by death. You shake your head and tell him his fate, reminding the public of the code of Hammurabi and your duty to the king and the gods. You must fill out their wishes.
Anashi shusharu ikbushu, ana ilakuti shushailu shailani, atishu ishtubu, ushbushu shushalushu.
The man will be treated with mercy. He will only be strangled to death, a far better death than being beheaded in Babylonian society. You thank the god Shamash for helping you bring justice, and you will later provide a monetary offering. The man is taken away in chains towards the palace, to be strangled on a different day. You declare that the man's possessions will be sold off to pay his debts, and a portion to be given to his wife. Granting the woman divorce and possession of her dowry, she can go back home to her family. You'll go back home now to write a report of the trial and present it to the king. Walking back to your house, you'll see the sun glistening off the copper pots hanging from the streets, merchants yelling at the crowds to come by as children play in the streets, people unloading shipments of cedar, incense, animals, and copper off of incoming boats, and loading grain, textiles, and wine to be sent abroad. Later in the day, you'll settle down for dinner created by Tamit and Sinamad, a stew made of honey, dates, palm heart, and mutton, seasoned with choice spices and some wine. You'll take your wife to the temple Shamash in the night, giving an offering of 30 talents of silver. You'll take your son with you as well, and introduce him to the life of being a citizen of Babylon. This is just one day in the life of the city of Babylon, and because of the short nature of these videos, I am obviously not able to include a lot of things. However, if there is anything you think I missed out, please write it down in the comments section. As well, please tell me how you felt about the video, how it can be improved, and what the next video should be about. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.